2 hours before qualifying at Spa, Lewis Hamilton destroyed his Ferrari. The crash that wasn't an accident. Saturday, final minute of final practice. Hamilton is 5th fastest, pushing for one more lap before qualifying. He goes wide at turn 13, catches the gravel, and clips the barrier with the rear of the car. "I've destroyed the car, mate. Sorry," he told his engineer over the radio.
No problem.
It was almost the exact same crash Pierre Gasly had at the same corner one day earlier. 2 cars, 2 different teams, same barrier. Ferrari had just over 2 hours to rebuild Hamilton's car before qualifying new suspension, new floor, new rear wing, new gearbox as a precaution. That is not the headline, though. The headline is what it revealed underneath it. Lewis Hamilton has won the Belgian Grand Prix 5 times. Only Michael Schumacher has won it more 6. This weekend, Hamilton had the chance to tie that record. He is doing it in Ferrari, the most successful team in Belgian Grand Prix history with 18 wins. More than Mercedes, more than McLaren, more than anyone. And Ferrari have not won at Spa since 2019. 7 years. The team with the most wins at this circuit cannot win here anymore. So this video is not really about one crash. It is about whether Hamilton's title fight survives a track that has quietly broken every Ferrari driver who has come here in the last decade, and what actually happened across this entire Spa weekend proves it is happening again. What the timesheets actually show. Start with Friday. Verstappen topped FP1, Hamilton was 2nd, Leclerc 3rd, a promising start. Then FP2 happened. Antonelli went fastest. Hamilton dropped to 4th, 7 tenths off the pace, gap to the fastest lap time. Leclerc fell to 11th. 7 tenths in one session at a track that is almost entirely straights is not a setup problem. It is the engine, the power unit, that combines the combustion engine with electric motors for extra speed. But here is what nobody is saying yet. On the same day, Ferrari were losing time on track. They were also losing a fight off it. The FIA flagged both Ferrari cars for a tire return infringement. The team had electronically logged returning tires to Pirelli after FP1, but had not physically handed them back before FP2 started. Fred Vasseur, asked about it before the verdict came down, laughed and said, "It will be a fine." He was right. Ferrari were fined €10,000 total, 5,000 per car, no grid penalty. A €10,000 fine will not change a championship, but it tells you something about the state of this team right now. Small errors, stacking up in the exact week where they can least afford them. If you want to see how this actually played out in qualifying, subscribe. I am covering the full grid breakdown tomorrow. The number, Vasseur didn't want to say. Saturday morning, before the crash, Vasseur was already talking about the gap. He said Mercedes still has a small advantage on pure performance, and then gave the real number. Across 6 or 7 sessions that weekend, he said Mercedes were quicker in 5 of them. Not close. 5 out of 7. He went further. At Spa, with its brutal energy management demands, how much electric boost the car can deploy and for how long before it runs out, Ferrari are at times up to 20 kilometers per hour, slower than their rivals on the straights. 20 kilometers per hour on a track that is 60% straight. That is not a small gap. That is the entire story of why Ferrari has not won here since 2019. Said out loud by their own team principal, 3 hours before Hamilton put his car in the barrier trying to find time that physically was not there to find. But that was just the start. The pattern that cost Leclerc in 2022. Because this is not new. This is the exact same trap that cost Charles Leclerc the 2022 championship. After Bahrain that year, Leclerc led by 46 points. Ferrari had the fastest car at street circuits and high downforce tracks, tracks where aerodynamic grip matters more than straight-line speed. Then the power circuits arrived. Baku, gone. Montreal, gone. Spa pole position, finished 3rd. By the end of summer, Verstappen had the lead and never gave it back. Ferrari did not lose 2022 because the car was slow. They lost because the car was fast in the wrong places. Hamilton is living the 2026 version of that story right now. Heading into this weekend, he was 32 points behind Antonelli, with George Russell also closing in. Antonelli's own lead had already shrunk from 43 points to 25 after a mechanical failure cost him a result at Silverstone. The title race is fragile on both sides. But Ferrari keeps arriving at the power circuits with a car built for somewhere else. What qualifying actually confirmed? So how did it actually land? Antonelli took pole, 1 minute 04.361 seconds. Verstappen second. Norris was third on the road, but will start further back after a 10-place grid penalty for exceeding his power unit component allowance. Russell fourth, Leclerc fifth, and Hamilton, after a car that was in pieces 2 hours earlier, sixth, 0.3 of a second off Leclerc in a rebuilt car at a track where Ferrari have already admitted they are giving away 20 kilometers per hour on the straights. That result is not a disaster. Getting a destroyed car back on track in 2 hours and qualifying inside the top 6 is a genuine recovery for the team, but it is also proof of exactly the pattern this video opened with. Ferrari spent Thursday saying it was time to crack the whip. Hamilton said it himself in those words before a wheel had even turned. Then the weekend gave them a fine, a fourth-place practice session, a crash, and a qualifying result built on damage control rather than pace. The championship math that matters now. Here is where the title fight actually stands. Hamilton goes into the Belgian Grand Prix roughly 30 points behind Antonelli, single figures behind Russell, starting sixth in a car Ferrari themselves say is down 20 kilometers per hour on the straights. Ferrari has an ADUO turbocharger upgrade, a redesigned turbo component intended to close the power deficit, planned for Madrid later this season. Until that lands, every power circuit left on the calendar, Spa, Monza, Jeddah, Qatar, is a race where the car is working against the driver instead of with him. That is the real headline from Spa, not the crash. The crash was just the most visible symptom of a car that has been quietly losing time all weekend, in a pattern that has already cost this team one championship this decade. Hamilton can still tie Schumacher's record of 6 Belgian Grand Prix wins on Sunday. He is starting from 6th in a rebuilt car on a track his own team principal admits they cannot fully compete on. If he gets it done from there, it will be one of the most impressive drives of his Ferrari career. If he doesn't, remember this weekend the fine, the 20 kilometers per hour, the crash, because it will be the exact same story at Monza in a few weeks. Drop this in the comments. Was Hamilton's crash driver error under pressure or a car that gave him nothing to work with? I am covering the full race result and what it means for the championship tomorrow. Subscribe so you don't miss it. If this gave you a new angle on Ferrari's Spa problem, you'll want to be here tomorrow for the race breakdown and what it does to Hamilton's title math.